Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's Nicole. So in today's video, we are gonna be doing some kind of last minute spring / Easter decorating. There's gonna be more bunnies, tulips, beautiful spring colors, and a really nice centerpiece that you can kind of see behind me. If you wanna see everything that we get into, oh, and including a DIY, something that I've never tried before, decoupaging. If you wanna see the whole adventure and everything that we get into, go ahead and keep watching. So the first project I want to start with today is going to be to Mod Podge or decoupage, I guess you could say, some plaster eggs. These plaster eggs came from Michael's. They were $9.99, but I think they were 50% off when I picked them up. And we're going to use some Mod Podge to do the decoupaging. And so we're going to need, of course, some paintbrushes, and then this is what I'm going to decoupage onto the eggs. I'm really excited about these napkins because they can kind of go with pastel-y Easters and they can also go with neutral Easters. So I feel like I can use them for several years to come, whether I decide to do neutral Easter or pastel Easter. They will kind of go with any theme that I decide to do in the future. So yes, let's go ahead and get these eggs out. All right, so here's our two eggs. Let me see, paintbrush wise, I think I'm gonna use this one that's a little bit rougher, but it's still pretty big. All right, y'all, sad news. I just realized my camera stopped recording at some point, and I don't know when that was. As you can tell, we already got 3 eggs done, and I recorded the whole process, but the footage is lost. So let me show you guys. I did learn some lessons, and I guess it turned out good because now you guys will just see what I learned. So I'm gonna do another egg, and I did learn that this is, even though it looks like it's 1-ply and like you can't really take it apart, it's actually 2-ply, and you can take it apart, and you should, because only the backside will stick if you don't. So I'm gonna take this apart and we can kind of redo one. As you can see here, it is 2-ply, or I don't know what you would call that per se, but take this back part off and throw it out. Don't need that. We're only gonna need this thin piece right here. And then what I decided was I did one of each bunny as the center of the egg. So like when it's sitting like this, the center of the egg will have one of each bunny. So we have this cute one that's laying here with the flowers on her head. We have this guy, he doesn't have any flowers on him, but he's sniffing a flower. And then this girl, and she is just kind of looking around and she has flowers on her head. So for this one, I'm gonna make this guy right here at the center because he didn't really come out in the center in another one of the eggs that I made. So I'm gonna use this one down here as the center. So what you're gonna do is just get some Mod Podge on your egg. And then we're gonna, let's get this down here. Then you're gonna get the little guy that you wanna center and put him in the center of your egg. It does have a lot of texture to it, and it almost looks like fabric, which I actually really like. I'm sure there's ways to do it a little bit better so you don't get all of this texture in it, but I really like it, so I'm just gonna leave it. I'm sure I could cut like pieces, you know, instead to make it a little bit less textured. But like I said, I'm happy with it like that. I feel like it looks organic, and you guys know that I like the organic kind of primitive look of things. So what I did learn is once your hands get sticky with the Mod Podge though, be very careful with what you touch on the outside because your hands will tear what they stick to on the outside. Look at that. These bunnies look so happy. I love them. Now that I'm at this point, I'm gonna cut all the excess off. And then we're gonna seam it as good as we can. So for mine, I'm not too concerned because I know that there's gonna be a back and I'm not gonna really display the back. So I'm not gonna be picky about how the seam in the back looks on mine. But if you want your egg to look perfect, then I would suggest going and looking up on YouTube someone that decoupages more often than I do. More often than this is the first time they've ever done it. And I'm sure there's ways to kind of, like I said, wrap things better so that it's a little bit more seamless. So, okay, this is the back. Not so cute. The front is very cute. That would be what the front is. I love it. So after the back seam dries, you want to make sure and go ahead and just Mod Podge the whole thing on the outside. That way you can seal it and it'll look really nice and give it kind of a tiny bit of a sheen, and it is finished after it completely dries. All right, y'all, so now that we're waiting for the Easter eggs that we just made to dry, I am gonna get to making a table centerpiece. We're gonna use a table runner, and then I have some ideas for a table centerpiece. I hope that it works out. Anyways, let's get into it and let's try to make a super cute Easter table centerpiece. So the first thing we're gonna start with is gonna be this beautiful table runner right here. It just has a lot of texture to it. I'm excited to use it. I got it last year at Walmart. All right, so next I'm gonna use this pedestal right here. This came from Savers a while back. I'm just gonna put it right in the middle. All right, so next, here comes the fun but interesting part. What my thought process is I wanna use these twiggy little stems right here. They came from Amazon last year. I used them for fall time, but I went and picked them back up from my storage unit because I feel like I wanna make some kind of a round wreath looking type viney, I don't know what you would call it. I'm sure you guys have seen them. They sell them at the grocery stores and things like that, and they usually do them with ivies or eucalyptus, where they have like just greenery in a circle like that. I really have no clue what that's called, but I'm gonna try to make that with these, and then with some of these little branches that have kind of some little greenery coming out of them, and then maybe we'll add some little flowers to it, just depending on how it looks and if I can even do this. But that's my idea. Let's see how it turns out. Something like this. Maybe a little bigger. Look at that. Isn't that cute already? Now let's figure out how I'm gonna get it to stay. Maybe I can use some floral foam. Let me go grab some floral foam. All right, I went and picked up a floral foam that I had. So let me think this through. I think I'm gonna cut it to fit in this bottom part down here. Yeah, so that's really secure in there now. Won't move at all, which is perfect. So now I'm gonna stick this in there to hold it in place. There we go. And stick the other one on the other side. So there we go. Now let me make the shape a little bit better. Oops. Kind of stick some of these up and out. Let me get what I want to put in the center so that we can see how it's going to look. So I want to add these two cute little bunnies holding hands in the center. So this needs to be like taller than them. I totally forgot that we had this leftover that I didn't use on the coffee bar. This little kind of stem that came from Savers. It's originally from Michael's, but it came from Savers is where I found it. And I think I'm actually going to use this instead of these. That way we don't have to add any kind of flowers or anything like that to it. This already has everything in it, so it makes it a little bit easier, a little bit more simple. So let's see how I can kind of twine this around with what we already got going on. And then we can have the bottom kind of doing its own thing, because we're gonna add Easter eggs and things in here. So I have this little stem right here. I'm gonna kind of take some little parts off of it, just like this, just tear them off, and then I'm gonna kind of stick it in and see how it looks to give it a little bit more texture. And I'm just kind of wrapping it around like that. All right, I'm just kind of gonna finagle with it until I like it. I love making things like this because they're not like permanent things, you know, like next season I can do something completely different, and that's what I love about like decorating like this, it's not a permanent thing. Like there's literally no hot glue being used. There's no, you know, nothing that can't be taken apart. And I really like that because I like that I can reuse pieces, you know? I mean, I use these twigs during the fall time, and here I am again using them during spring/Easter of all times. Like you would not normally think like something that's being used at the fall time will be used again. But I feel like that looks so whimsical and cute. And honestly, like when else am I gonna get to do something really whimsical like this? I feel like spring is the perfect time to kind of step out of your comfort zone and try something different that you've never tried before with decor, because it's very forgiving. You don't necessarily need anything perfect going on during the springtime, because by its nature, springtime is not perfect. Plants are growing and, you know, they don't look perfect yet. They're not filling their planters yet. They're still babies. They're still little. Everything is fresh and new. And I feel like that's kind of how this looks. It gives you the idea that like things are just blooming, blossoming, going a little crazy. So let's sit our bunnies in here again. I absolutely love decorating with these little bunnies because they look like they're about to go on a little adventure. And I love that because it makes you just wonder, like, where are they going? And they're going together and they just look so happy. And I just love it. I feel like it looks very whimsical and I really like that. So that looks really cute. Now I'm just gonna fill around with some other little flowers and things, and then we'll add some, actually let me get my eggs and we'll see if we'll add eggs first or flowers first. All right, so we have this set of eggs that I picked up. If you guys saw the coffee bar decorating for spring, I picked these up at Ross when I picked up the other eggs that we decorated the coffee bar with. So we're gonna use these. If I had some moss, I would totally put moss down here to hide our floral foam, but I have no moss. So I'm trying to think of something else that I can use to kind of hide. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe we will do some flowers. These are really cute. We don't really have any yellow going on right now. I think I'm gonna use this stem. I'm just gonna take this big flower off of it. There, just pop it off. That way if I wanna pop it on in the future, I can. And I'm just gonna stick this in here to kind of cover foam. And then once we put eggs, you really won't be able to see foam at all. All right, and then we'll add a blue egg right here. Now for the side, I'm gonna add some tulips. And now let's work on the back. Kind of gonna mimic the front. I'm gonna take another one of these and I'm gonna take the yellow flower off of it and kind of tuck it in here. And now we can add our Easter eggs. So a little bit different than the front. We'll put them like that on this side. And as you can tell, this is the only spot where you can still see the moss, so we'll add another egg right in there to kind of cover it. And there you have it. There's the back. And here is the front. And there it is, y'all. What do you think? Put it in the middle of the table. All right, y'all, so now that our centerpiece is done, we're gonna start working on the shelves that I have on either side of the window in my dining area. So as you can tell behind me, we got no spring going on the shelf thus far. So we're gonna add some bunnies. We're gonna add the cute little metal decor that I picked up when I shared my vintage haul. And a couple of other things. Let's see what we get into. Let's go ahead and get started with it. All right, y'all, so I apologize. The sun is coming in really harsh through that window, and that's the most that I can do is close the blinds. So what I'm gonna start by doing is just kind of removing everything so that we can have a blank canvas. I know I wanna keep this, probably gonna keep this. Let me get what I'm thinking I want to put on this shelf right here. All right, y'all, so now unfortunately I lost some footage, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how I decorated this shelf from this angle right here. So I used a candle stand and the decoupage egg that we made, and then the little wreath is kind of, I think it's a gift tag because it was in the gift tag area of Target. Then I used our little metal bunny artwork right in the middle. I put it on top of our industrial spool. So now as I'm here close to this shelf, I want to add something else. I want to add this cute, tiny little hyacinth plant. I got this at Michael's. I just want to add it right here. I just feel like it's super cute, and this is the end of spring decorating, so I need to add it somewhere, and I feel like it looks really cute right there. So for this middle shelf, we are gonna add this teapot that I already had on the shelf. I just added some tulips to it. So this is like 3 different tulip bouquets that I just cut all apart, and I put in some yellow and white, and then some just plain white into the teapot, and I put it right in the middle. Then I added this super cute white bunny that came from Hobby Lobby onto the end of the shelf. All right, so for that top shelf, I did have this already up there, this little kind of jar. So what I'm gonna do with this jar is I went to my storage unit and I grabbed this basket right here. This came from Savers. I am just gonna place the jar in the basket just like that. And then we're gonna fill the jar with none other than yellow tulips. And the last thing that I want to add to that top shelf is just going to be this really cute little grassy bunny. We're going to add him close to the jar that we just did. The only other thing is that when I step away, the other 2 shelves have the yellow tulips on it, and this one doesn't have any kind of yellow on it. So I do want to add some yellow tulips here. And now I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick them right in here. So I think for now I'm just going to pull the little wick out, and that way we can stick this right where the wick was. We'll add the wick back after springtime. There we go. Just a little yellow touch right there. I think that looks super adorable. All right, so now here we are on the other side of the window. On these shelves, we're just gonna mimic what we did on the other side. So I'm gonna start by putting our little Easter egg that we made right here. Next, we're gonna add our metal decor onto our spool. And next, our cute, tiny little hyacinth. And last, our little yellow tulips that are gonna go in our oil lamp. All right, let's move to the middle shelf. So on this side, we already had this picture. I'm just gonna add some tulips to it. And then of course, next to that, we will add our cute white bunny. This one is so cute because she is scratching her little face. So cute. We'll put her right here. Now y'all, on this side, I am not liking that this space is so blank because this is a taller picture than the teapot that we have on the other side. I feel like there's a lot of blank space here, and the other side doesn't have any blank space, and it looks good the way that it is. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna use this little kind of riser, pot, whatever you wanna call it. I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna put some Easter eggs in it. So I want the Easter eggs to look like they're filling it up. So I'm gonna use this Easter egg that I don't like the color of and put it at the bottom just to kind of hold the other eggs up. And then we're gonna add a white egg, a blue egg. Let's see, I'll put it right here. White, blue, and I have a pink one right here. Now it's just getting them arranged properly so that they look like they're just kind of laying in there, just like that. That is so cute. So I think that's perfect right there. Let's move to the top shelf. So now on this top shelf, I'm just gonna mimic exactly what we did on the other side. So I'm gonna do our basket, then our pot with some tulips in it, and then another grassy little bunny on this side as well. And that's gonna be it for the shelves, y'all. Now we can move into a closer look at everything. All right, y'all, so that's gonna be it for today's video. I had so much fun bringing you all along on this kind of last minute Easter / spring decorating. It was so much fun. I am so glad that the centerpiece turned out just like I envisioned it. I absolutely love it. I had to give it its own space right here next to me, but I really did enjoy having you all along. And yeah, y'all, that's gonna be it for today. I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye, y'all.